degrees and that kind of thing, and that's south of us. So, hey, we missed you this morning on the net, by the way.
Yeah, I missed being there. The wife had a doctor's appointment in Asheville at 8:30, so we had to bail.
Yeah, that sounds like me tomorrow. So, okay, well, good. Well, glad. I hope everything went good, and I'm glad you're back at the radio. And now, is it still snowing up there?
No, it blew snow a lot of today, but it's cleared off now, and it's just cold and a little bit breezy.
All right, very good. Well, keep the fireplace going, and I hope everything goes okay up there. So I'll stand by for the net, KN4R.
All right, WA4LLR. CQ, the old friends net. This is N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. Steve in Shelby, North Carolina, calling CQ, the old friends net, which meets here on 160 every night at 8 p.m. 1864 kilocycles. All those wishing to check in, call now. WA4LLR.
KN4R.
K4QE.
All right, got WA4LLR, Dave, KN4R, Brian, W4.
I guess that's going to be a short net.
Sounds like Big Bertha gave up the ghost.
Again?
Hope he didn't lose power. Okay. Hang on a second.
He lives.
I don't know. Somebody's trying to call. Brian. Okay. It's N4LQ. Sheesh. Well, so much for that, Elmac. It's a good thing I had a spare transmitter on hand, at least for the time being. Yeah, all of a sudden the plate current slammed over and it started humming on me. So something has flown the coop inside there. So this thing is cold. This is the Valiant. I'm on it now, and had to settle for a little bit less power. Where were we? I got WA4LLR, KN4R, W4JPL, and then K4QE, John and Tony. Who else do we have? Well, there you go. All right, so far we're still going. I got one more transmitter to go in case this one goes out. Not sure what happened. This thing's been working all day, and been talking on it all day and off and on and so forth, and had her all tuned up, ready to go, and it just decided that it didn't like something. So that's the way it goes. AF-67 is kaput right now. Still sitting here with its pilot light on, waiting for me to chastise it, I guess. Let's see, it's going to be cold tonight. I think it was going to get down to 15 degrees, but we're ready for it. I just went in and made sure the gas logs worked. First time this year I've messed with them. Changed the battery in the igniter and got that to clicking good, and fired it up and got some heat. And I said, okay, you're ready, and turned it off. So there you go. And Dave, WA4LLR, N4LQ, go ahead and take it and give it to Brian.
All righty then, N4LQ, WA4LLR. Well, the Valiant sounds good. I'm on the Valiant 2 and listening on the 129X, courtesy of Mr. Brian. I've enjoyed that receiver, Brian. It's got one of the prettiest front panels I've seen on a 129X. So I appreciate you passing that on. Anyway, sorry I missed the net this morning, but the wife had a early doctor's appointment in Asheville at 8:30, so had to head out about 7 o'clock. Actually, it was on a little beyond Asheville, so had to get gone. Current temperature 12 degrees, windy and mostly clear. Going down to, depending on who you listen to or which source, 4 degrees or 7 degrees, one of the two, but it's single digits. So, Steve, the best I can tell, you said you talked on the F-67 quite a bit today, so evidently it emitted all the electrons it could, and it's waiting to get a recharge. Here it comes, Brian, KN4R, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR in the group, KN4R. Very good, and I'm glad you like the 129X. That is a beautiful radio, and your Valiant 2 sounds absolutely terrific. I like it's just a wee bit bassy, and it sounds really, really good. So, Steve, your Valiant sounds good too. So, anyway, it looks like it's 28 degrees here. We've been I've been going around the house and getting things dripping just slightly, and opened all the cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And our neighbor's out of town. We got to go over there and do the same thing on their house, but I'll do it after the net. So, and we've got the fireplace on here, Steve. So anyway, best of luck tonight, Dave. Is all I can say. If we had 4 degrees or something like that, everything would probably break down over here. And Steve, I'm sorry you overworked your AF-67, but I guess it was time to rebuild it yet again. So, all right, John, what are you using? Oh, I'm using the modern stuff at the moment. So, John, W4JPL and the group KN4R.
KN4R in the group W4JPL. Good evening, everybody. Running the ICOM 7610 and into my dipole, and very sophisticated here. It's 30 degrees. I think it's supposed to go down to 15 or 16 tonight. I don't know about you guys, but that's cold to me. Really cold. Didn't do a lot today. Went and did my exercise routine in the morning. Had breakfast. Came home, and I have a transceiver I picked up that I'm working on. I don't even know how to pronounce this. UBITX. It's made in India. Came with some other stuff I bought, and it basically works, but the VFO encoder for some reason don't encode VFO, if that makes any sense. And I determined that the encoder is good, so signed into a couple of groups and see if I can get an answer on what the deal is with that. And I worked in my studio on a new tune today for a little while. So that's my day. Tomorrow will be more of the same. Go to exercise in the morning, and then got to visit my daughter for a little while. I got a couple presents for her from my sister up north. So fun till Daddy took the T-Bird away. K4QE W4JPL.
Okay, John. Thank you, Steve and Dave and Brian. and of course you, John. John, it's a U-bit-X. That's how you pronounce it, U-bit-X. And Steve, I don't know if you noticed, but the title of your YouTube for this edition of the net is happening on January 53rd of 24. I think that needs a little fixing. Anyway, I lost Dave for half of his transmission there, but I managed to hear everyone else 100%. And sorry it's another crap out there, Steve. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I guess that transmitter was just tired of you working it all day today. So anyway, back to you, Steve. N4LQ in the group from K4QE.
GZ.
Oh, good. W4GUZ. Brandon, I got a question for you when you get around to it. I was going to ask you about I know you're planning on putting a Elmac in your van, Volkswagen van, and I wondered if you're planning on using the power supply, what is it, the 1070 or, yeah, the M1070 with a vibrator in it and so forth. Do you have one, and what's your plans there? I just got one in here, and I just wondered. Of course, usually I just rip all that vibrator junk out, but just curious. So go ahead and take it, and then turn it back to me. W4GUZ N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, good evening. I heard Tony and Brian a little late getting in tonight. I thought my Subaru was blowing up coming home. Had ice caked up above the exhaust, and it was rattling against the floor. Only made a noise when I was accelerating. But in the short 5.5 mile drive, everything heated up enough to where it didn't sound quite as bad when I got home. So anyway, well, tuning is different. Hold on. Well, now we're going in the right direction. A lot of antennas a different length than it was last night. Yeah, I've got the power supply with the vibrator in it. Don't throw it away, because I don't know if the vibrator works. That's a weird thing to say on the radio. Sorry, I just got home trying to unwind, but I'm thinking now maybe I want an AF-67 to go in the van. I mean the bus. The bus makes pretty good ground planes. We'll see. But I've got that and the, what is this one? The PS2, just the 115 volt power supply is what I've got everything running on now. I've got to get the wheels under it and get all that ready. So I'll chat more about that next round. I'm not sure who all's in here. It is 11.1 degrees currently at 3,300 feet. N4LQ W4GUZ.
Well, probably the same temperature here if I went up 3,300 feet, but I'm only at 800. It's 28 degrees in Shelby, so okay. I guess that kind of answered my question. I'll just I've got a couple vibrators here, so I'll just have one more. I'll just take it out. I don't know. I've heard that vibrators tend to go bad just sitting around, and I know they got a bunch of foam rubber and stuff in them. So I don't know. This thing, it looks like the main filter capacitor has been changed, and somebody wrote the date on the top of it, the 16th of April, 1962, and it's got a bunch of black tar goop underneath it. So I think maybe it's bad. I don't think it's been plugged in since then, really. So I will do a total rework on it, and probably put a filter choke in it too. I tend to do that, but boy, I tell you what, these things are scarce and overpriced. It's best just to build your own, and now I think I know how to do it in such a way it won't be too expensive. Well, let's see. This this Elmac has lost its drive. I still got plate voltage. I've got low voltage, high voltage, grid voltage, got all the voltages out of the power supply. Plate current slams over, so that tells me no drive and no oscillator coming, no signal coming out of it. And if I had my 160 crystal up here, I'd stick it in there and see if that made it work. If that didn't make it work, then I would assume it's probably the driver tube. Probably start from there and go in both directions. That's the way I figured. Finally got YouTube working. I had all kinds of problem with it getting real slow, and you know how it buffers if it's slow, and this little circle goes around and around and around, and people start moving, and it gradually gets a little better. You know, it's like you got a dial-up connection or something. Well, that's the way mine was getting. And I kept trying to tell Spectrum, I said, everything else works. I can get videos from anywhere, and you know, from the news or from movies, Peacock or Prime or whatever, everything works fine. It's just YouTube. Anyway, this guy came out today, and I tried to explain that to him. I said, it's just that one website, YouTube. And he said, so he looked back behind my modem. Now, I've got the coax coming in, of course, and I wrapped it around a toroid, 31-240 choke, you know, to make a choke out of it to keep RF out of it and vice versa. And he said, well, right there's your problem. You got that, you can't have that in there. I said, what do you mean? That's something I've done for years. Everybody, all the hams do that. That's standard practice. Oh, no. I said, well, then exactly why would that cause a problem? He said, well, you got that circle rotating around there on your screen? He said, right there it is. He said, that cable goes around and around that toroid. That's what's causing that thing to go around and around. I said, well, here we go. I have got me a dilly. But anyway, he spent 45 minutes out in the backyard on the phone, and I knew what it was. It's the interface between YouTube and Spectrum had a problem, and of course he didn't know what he was talking about, and he finally came in and said, well, I adjusted your levels, they were too hot, and that fixed it. And I said, oh really? So everything works now real fast. I ran the speed check from half a dozen different places before and after. It's the same. It didn't change the speed, it didn't change the pinging or the latency or any of the parameters, but now YouTube works. Figure that one out. Over to you, Dave, WA4LLR. Now let me go down the list here again for Brandon's sake. LLR, KN4R, JPL, K4QE, and W4GUZ. Go ahead, Dave.
To you.
Come here. We got you, Mayor. Come after Brandon.
All right, and good evening to Mir. WA4LLR. Well, now, Steve, it should have been obvious to anybody that toroid you had back there was the same as that little circle that goes round and round. I mean, any dummy could have figured that out. Oh, brother, that's the best one I've heard. Yeah. Oh, goody. Mercy sake. Good evening, Brandon. Wonder if you ever heard anything from our buddy Terry. Sounded like you're about 1 degree cooler than we are. When I came downstairs, it was 12. Of course, you're 300 feet higher, so maybe that's got the degree in there. But it's chilly any way you look at it. And Tony, sorry you lost me. I'm only running 100 watts or maybe a little better out of this Valiant 2. But that's all I've got right now going on 160. And Brandon, I'm with you. I believe a 67 would look better in that van than the 68. I just of course now you got to realize I'm partial. I've always had a soft spot for 67s because that was my novice transmitter, well, along with some homebrew ones. But that was the one I thought was so cool. Anyway, let's see, Brian. Hope you're able to keep the neighbor's water flowing without any foul-ups. John, sounded like you had a good day between tinkering and working on music and the other stuff that's going on. And Tony, I'm copying you well. You're probably running quite a bit more power than I am. Everybody sounded good tonight. Still getting a few static crashes from that weather system that's off the East Coast. I was looking at the radar and lightning map, and there's still quite a bit of thunderstorm activity off the East Coast. Not too bad. So, Brian, on down to you. KN4R, WA4LLR.
Yeah, okay. Dave, very good. WA4LLR in the group. KN4R. Well, good evening, Brandon, and good evening, Mir. And copying everybody just fine here. And Brandon, I forgot what year your Volkswagen bus is, but if it's a 67, the AF-67 be perfect. But if it's like a 64 or 5, you're just going to have to find a slightly older transmitter to work in there. But I can't wait to see it. And, as far as I remember, the passenger side of a bus had a lot of leg room, so maybe you'll be able to put it in there, without drilling holes and all that kind of stuff. And I missed most of the conversations. I had to run down the hall here, but I'm back now. So let's keep it going. W4JP on the group, KN4R.
Alrighty, KN4R, W4JPL. Hello, Brandon, Mir, and everybody else. Well, it was a good day today, and it's going to be a good day tomorrow. We'll make it a good day. And they say the grass is green on the other side, and I say the grass is greener where you fertilize it. So there. Tony just mentioned that 6 meters could be open to New Zealand. That could be interesting, or Hawaii. I don't know. After I'm done with the net, if I could stay awake long enough, I might wander up there and turn on the FT8 and see if I can hear anything. That could be interesting. K4QE, W4JPL.
Okay, John, very good. And good evening to you, Brandon and Mir. Good to hear you guys tonight. And Dave, you were much stronger in that last transmission. I guess it's just fan conditions. We're 100% copy that time. And well, I don't have a whole lot going on here. I'm getting ready for tomorrow, and I'll be taking off a couple days from work for it. And hopefully things will go well, and we're all prepared here. We're supposed to arrive at the hospital tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we'll see how that goes, and away we go. So anyway, the wife's in good spirits, and that's what all that counts right now. And I got a couple of friends that have been pinging me about needing some help with their computers. So I had to put them off for a few days. but that's okay. No problem. And I will pass it on down to Brandon. W4GUZ. It's 15 degrees here in Liberty. K4QE.
K4QE in the group. Okay, Tony. I hope everything's okay. Your wife said you're going to spend the day in the hospital. Hope everything's all right. Dave, before I forget it, no, I've been in touch with Cliff, and maybe tomorrow we'll know something a little more about our buddy Terry. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but if nothing happens before the weekend, the wife and I are heading that direction. So, but I told you, Dave, but I spoke to after relentlessly calling over and over. His ex-wife has his phone, and she called back, so. And I gave her my phone number, and she promised she'd call if there's any changes. But figured she would call today, hoping she would, but she didn't. So we'll try to follow up on that tomorrow. But remember old Terry in your prayers. He's a tough bird with a kind heart. You've got to know him to understand him. Anyway. Steve, hope you've had better luck with Spectrum than Zitto. Dave, I know you've been down that road. The only option we have here is Zitto. It used to be Country Cable, which was locally owned. I'm sure it was sourced from somewhere else, but they were an awesome company to deal with. And when the power went off, if you had some sort of backup power, you still had internet. Well, that's not the case anymore. The power goes off, the internet goes off. So I'm not sure if Country Cable took the batteries and ran with them, or what happened. But there've been a lot of problems with it. And my coworker, she got charged twice for this month, and she finally got in touch with the office in Burnsville today, and they got that squared away. But beggars can't be choosers when it comes to internet. Flashback 5 years ago, we had nothing. If I wanted to send a text or check eBay or one of the Volkswagen sites, I had to drive down the road and go up on Graveyard Hill between the two churches, and I had pretty good signal down there, so not going to complain. Zitto works okay if the power's on. So, and yeah, Brian, definitely hadn't thought of it that way, but it is it's a 67 bus, so AF-67 is definitely going in it. Enough said. I haven't heard the vibrator on this 1070 power supply. It looks more or less unmolested. I haven't dove into it yet, but I'm assuming that when it vibrates, it makes quite a bit of noise, so it'll be placed near the back of the bus. But, that's one of my dreams I'm looking forward to. Really looking forward to getting this bus. It's been here in the basement forever, since 1999, since I've had it. I'm getting closer, even though I hadn't done anything on it in the last year. But yeah, the Elmac's definitely going in there. And should have KD4GEW's Ranger, courtesy of Cliff, which was a Christmas present for Eric, newly upgraded to General. And for those that don't know, every Friday in Weaverville at the Ingalls, there's a VE session. So anybody that's looking to upgrade or get started, every Friday. I'm not sure what time, but odd place to have it. I guess it's in the deli section, but every Friday, as far as I know, 12 months out of the year. But I got the TR relay and the freak counter and all that ready to go, so just I'm going to make up a couple jumpers tomorrow, and I plan on hibernating up until at least the sun reaches my eyelids, which is usually about I'll be up before the alarm clock goes off. Who am I kidding? But I'd like to sleep in, but I hope to get the Ranger on the air tomorrow. Anyway, WF2U sounding good here, Mayor, tonight. W4GUZ in the group.
W4GUZ. And the group here, this is WF2U. Good evening. Hope everybody's keeping warm. Wind chill here is about. My digital weather station here in the yard. That's between my shack, which is a detached building, and the house, right in the middle. And it shows presently 21 degrees, and wind gusts of 29 miles per hour. The wind has been howling like since before noon. It's absolutely howling here. And the deck furniture is all turned upside down. Always does. Big winds. We always get pretty high winds here coming off Hogback Mountain, which is several miles north of us, and it's visible from our property pretty nicely. And that's where the winds come off from. And so even 30-35 miles per hour winds are not unusual here. And so anyway, as long as the antennas stay up, that's fine with me. And trees don't fly in the air. We got... I cleared enough rolling trees from here that I need a little break. But hey, more firewood. As long as it doesn't do much damage, or damage at all. Well, the old FriendNet was nice. It was unusually loud signals from everybody. I mean, my NC 300 S-meter was almost always pegging on peaks. Everybody was like 20 to 40 to 40 plus dB overnight. That was incredible. And anyway, it looks like my DX100B was doing what it's supposed to do. At exactly 100 watts carrier, and the modulation was set correctly, so I'm not complaining. Tomorrow, I'm not going to the farm to herd, and from most likely Thursday neither. So tomorrow I'll have a little bit of time to sit in the shack here and get one of my D104s plugged up for the appropriate jack. I mean, for the jack that is on the DX100B, and see how that will do. at least most likely Thursday I'm not going to the farm either, so I'll be able to be on the Old Friends Net in the morning. So the weakest station here was John, actually. Not that I didn't copy 100%, but you were not as strong as everybody else, just a little less. And I had a little bit of static here for a while. Now it's quieted down. And it's not electrical noise, it's some kind of atmospheric noise. And so I guess the next one is back to Steve. 1040Q and the group WF to you.
Back on AM again now. And be sure I'm on the right frequency. N4LQ. Does anybody else out there want to check in? Okay, let's see here. That's pretty interesting. I was just sitting here looking at the manual for that 1070. Somebody uploaded a very, very nice copy of the manual on BAMA. And there's a lot too, changing from 6 volts to 12 volts. And there's a bunch of sort of oddball parts for the vibrators section. And if you look under the chassis, they've got these waxed capacitors that are kind of shaped like somebody stepped on a tubular capacitor, and the wires coming out each end are braided instead of solid wires. There's a bunch of those. Really, I don't think I've seen those anywhere else. I guess it's got something to do with dealing with the low frequency AC that's coming out of that vibrator, and so that's going to be fun. Got to get the transformer wired right, film it's got to be right, and all that kind of stuff to make all this work. I think I might look into changing some of those capacitors, but there's a bunch of them that I took out for just normal use. Well, I'm glad to hear Ingalls is giving a test, and I suppose that's done in the ham section. Okay. And the power going off kills your internet. Well, don't you have to have power anyway for the router and stuff, a modem? So would it matter, or do you run on battery, or how do you figure on that, Brandon? I don't quite understand. Back in the early days of cable and the internet, we lived up in Kentucky, and we had it was the phone. We had phone over the cable, and the phone had a phantom voltage or DC voltage on it at all times that came from the cable. That cable coming into the house always had, I think it was around 90 volts, something like that. And I got shocked on it one time. I remember getting zapped, and I measured it, and it was up there and up, or maybe it was 48 volts, but it was enough that you could feel it and didn't want to hold on to it very long. And the deal was that it would run your pot phone, as they call them, at the same, if the internet failed, you still had, your power was off, you still had a phone. That's the idea, because, back in the old days, those old phones didn't need power. The phone company supplied the power, and the cable company was doing the same thing. I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think there's any voltage at all on cable. So, at least that's what I think. And let's see. Tony, best to your wife tomorrow. And I wonder if they're going to keep her overnight. Sounds like they might. at least for a night or so anyway. And so, Dave, over to you, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
N4LQ and the group, WA4LLR. Yeah, I found out those old phone systems had some bite to them. I know the standing voltage was 40 something, and then the ringing voltage was 90 plus. I remember I was fooling with the phone line one day, and somebody called, and man, that was a thrill. Of course, this was back in the days of rotary phones. Of course, now I've got another phone hanging on the wall that's got two great old big dry cells in it. So that goes back to the time when you pick it up, turn a crank on the side of it. But that's the funniest thing. I bought that old phone in an antique store in Spruce Pine many years back. And when I opened it up, it still had the two old big dry cells in there. And just for fun, I got a voltmeter and checked it, and they still had some voltage. One of them still had both of them had a little over a volt left in them, and Lord knows when those things were made. The fun with those old phones, though, is when you could get somebody to hold onto the wire and you spun the crank on the side of it. Our high school biology teacher loved to do that. He wanted to get all the students to stand in a circle, and the two on the ends would hold one of those, and he'd spin the crank. Oh, me. But, oh well. I got him back. I electrocuted his tadpoles in the aquarium with that same thing one day. I don't think he ever found out who did that. Anyway, let's see. Brandon, two questions. Number one, when are you going to go to Angles and get that last upgrade? And the other one, unless you've already done it, I don't know about it. And the other one is, what kind of antenna are you going to put on that VW bus? I remember many years ago when I was working on the Parkway, summers, at a service station up at Crabtree Meadows. I remember one day this guy pulled in, and I think it was a VW bus, and he had the wildest looking thing. It was an antenna, and it was kind of a half loop. It started on the back bumper, arched up over the top, and came down to the front bumper, insulated. And he had a great big tuning mechanism hooked to it, and he said he used it on 160. Oh, mercy. But that was the wildest looking rig I've ever seen. Made out of copper. Looked like about half-inch copper tubing. They said it worked good. I don't doubt it. And I'm wondering on your Elmac installation and your bug, how much you're probably going to have with noise suppression, spark plug noise, and so on and so forth. But all that can be solved, and I'm looking forward to seeing that installation. Anyway, down to you, Brian. KN4R, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, WA4LLR in the group, KN4R, very good. And Dave, you asked the question that I was going to ask, and what antenna. And Brandon, I have a tall Webster band spanner and a kind of a short Webster band spanner. I think the short one is blue, and you know they terminate in a 3/8 screw mount, which is pretty standard. But anyway, if you don't have an antenna, I would donate the short Webster band spanner I have, and I think it's blue. But next time I go to the garage, I'll take a picture and send to you in case you haven't gotten an antenna yet. But that sounds good. 67. I had a blue and white 67 van, and I really liked it until I seized the engine, because the oil cylinder on those things were notorious for not giving you a warning. So, but anyway, let's see, what else? Oh gosh, I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot. So let's keep it going. Over to you, John. Oh, tomorrow morning I've got to get up real early. Unfortunately, I got 2 VA appointments, and then I'm going to meet Kelly Culpepper, which is William Culpepper's son, and going out to an old AM transmitter site, and supposedly William's got some stuff squirreled away out there that Kelly's trying to get rid of. So I'll take pictures and let everybody know what's available. So if anything, so W4JP on the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in a group, W4JP. That's a little bit too much power. Hold on, let me turn this down. Whoop, trying to. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We're on a little bit of power here, so hopefully Mir can hear me a little better. 150 watts. With audio, I can go a little bit more in that. It's all over the place, this thing. In any event, not too much going on here. I'm going to make this my final transmission for the evening. I'm sitting here falling asleep, so I'll be listening for a little while. I got a couple of things to do before I can lay my head down on the pillow. It's already dropped to 28 degrees. It's going to get some more kind of cold out tonight, I'll tell you. 73, God bless, and I'll catch you guys later on. I won't be on in the morning. I'll be going to the exercise thing. Got to keep limber and keep Maggie moving. K4QE, W4JPL.
All right. Well, good night, John. And I'm sure we'll be talking over the next few days. And thank you, everyone, for your well wishes. And your prayers are greatly appreciated. And, yeah, she's expected to be there at least one night. We hope it won't go to 2 nights, but, you never know. But right now we're planning on a 1 overnight stay. So hopefully I'll get her home on Thursday and help her out with her recovery. It's a good thing I'm working from home. So I can be here in case anything happens over the next several weeks. Because she's going to need some help. But she's all prepared. Kids know what's going on, and they're ready to help out, so that's good. And we'll keep things rolling here in the Scandora house. So again, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it, and your thoughts and prayers mean a lot to us. And over to you, Brandon, W4GUZ from K4QE.
Okay, Tony, K4QE, W4GUZ. Well, I hope everything goes well, and the Lord guides the doctor's hands. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I'm sure everything will be okay. Just looking at the weather here, I thought tonight was going to be cold. Dave, have you looked at Saturday? High of 12, low of 1. At least it doesn't have a minus sign in front of it, so yeah, there's that. I have no idea what antenna I'm going to run on the bus. We'll see. The band spanner sounds like a good idea. I do have this stepper on the Subaru that works quite well, but that's not as doesn't have nowhere near the nostalgia as the band spanner or something. That the advertisement you sent of the Elmac setup, I wonder what antenna that is. I need to look at that closer, Steve, but that was probably one of the coolest and most convincing or persuasive advertisements I've seen for a radio setup. I'm sure that made them lots of money. And let's see. I need to take more notes. Oh, the generator. I've got didn't have the phone growing up, but I did have the generator out of the phone, and I'm pretty sure that I use that every year, at least through middle school, for some type of scientific project. And I shocked a lot of my friends, both physically and mentally, with that thing. Man, I had fun with that. Still got it too. Got to put my hand on it, but it's right here somewhere. And it was actually my great-grandfather's. If my grandfather told me the truth, that's where it come from. And I had to, I know Dad's not listening, but I had to kind of steal that after my grandparents died. I kind of snuck that out of the basement and threw it in the back of the car without him looking. So, oh, good times. No notes. Ingalls. Yes, I need to make the trip to Ingalls. I just need to put my mind to it, Dave, and spend one weekend going through all the digital crap that I'll never use. That's the only thing that worries me. I need to, I guess, memorize the digital modes that I will never use and get that underway, and then go test. And the only reason I would even consider it is to get down with the old friends, because there's no, I don't know, no pride in being an extra if you test today. Different story if you've done it 25 years ago. So I'll do it. Steve, I've got a UPS here and a generator that comes on in about 5 seconds, but even before that, with the UPS on, the modem and the router, the power could be off for days, and as long as I supplied power to the router, we had internet. But when local company went to a global company, they must have stole the batteries, so the power flickers, the internet goes off. And about a $90 cell phone booster, with all intentions of returning it to Amazon after I realized that it did not work, but it works. It works very well. And if you get out on the porch and stick one hand up in the air and lick your finger, you can send a text message. But with this thing, you've got a couple bars inside, at least enough to carry on a conversation if the power goes off. So we're set. Surprised that the power hasn't failed here. I know French Broad had a big failure, and I'm not sure when or if the power came back on. I know it was off for some folks for at least 16 hours. Power flickered here on Duke Energy, and that was it. Last night, but that was a heavy snow for sure. And it was probably the slickest snow I've ever driven in last night coming home. I always try to horse around a little bit, but last night there was no horsing around. Bamboo was laying over the road. I thought I'd hit a 36-inch oak tree one time, but it was too late to even think about hitting the brakes, and it was just a bunch of bamboo laying across the road. But golf ball size snowflakes, and I didn't realize.
Uh-oh.
He talked it down.
Talk down the repeater. Give him a minute. I thought I heard like a ding. Well, Mary, go ahead, and then we'll try him when you're done. WF2U N4LQ.
N4LQ WF2U. Yeah, okay. I guess Brian forgot to pass it on to me. And Tony, yeah, I wish your wife quick recovery, and hope everything is okay. It's anyway, I hope she's in good hands, and get over it. Whatever is going on to the best of everybody's ability. Anyway, sometimes I'm getting some kind of an atmospheric noise. I haven't checked the lightning application to see if there is any thunderstorms anywhere that I can hear, but it does not sound like lightning crashes, but more like some kind of high level of atmospheric noise. I don't get any electrical noise here. We are pretty far from anything. I never had any DSL sites or anything that causes or in the house. Anyway. It's always, unless it's atmospheric, it's always quiet. And anyway, so oh yeah, talking about those phones. Yeah, I have several military field phones. Those have had vegetable generators. Yeah, the old red line had actually 40 volts on the line. Yeah, about 90 volts was released. But I actually had one of those telephone company power supplies. It's 48 volts at something like 15 amps or something. I was trying to figure out what to do with it. So it's just basically at boat anchors, differentiated boat anchors like radios. This is not doing anything right now. It's just sitting in one corner. And I was going to figure out if it has multiple windings, that maybe somehow I do it and buck winding. I separate one winding for bucking, and maybe reduce it like to 24 volts for 24 volt supply. That's a possibility. Or even get another transformer. I have several that I could drop it enough to get 48, from 48 to 24 volts. Just get a 220 to 110 transformer, so you get you plug in the 240 to 120. Then you get something like 60 volts, and that 60 volts input to that should bring it down to about half, so it's 24 volts. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what it is. N4LQ, this is WFDU.
Let me say my parting thoughts here.
Well, no problem at all. Tell us what happened, and I'll tell you what some more about that antenna.
Well, I've been experimenting with the AT5K, and it does not like the 20V2. The ballon's too small on the winding, and it gets hot, and it's going up right now. I was watching it, and the SWAR went from 1.2 to 5, just like that. At least I've got a little warning here, and I didn't continue to talk. But, just experimenting with it. I need to put the link, the homebrew link coupled tuner back in line because it doesn't care. It's actually staying. I don't know what happens, but it's in the tuner. Anyway, 73, and we'll catch those that are whaling in the morning. I said I was going to hibernate, but I will set my alarm clock up because it's been a while since I've been on with the morning group. And we'll catch you all tomorrow. Don't let the pipes burst. Let's see, 10 dungarees here, Dave, so we're going downhill. I think the wood stove will keep up, though. And hope everyone has a good night, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Lord willing, and the pipes don't bust. I think I found the AF-67 for a shortwave listener out there that's usually in here with us. Looks good. Like I need something else to fiddle with. N4LQ. Everybody remembers Mr. Terry in your prayers, and hopefully tomorrow I'll find one way or the other. I will find something out, whether I have to break laws or not. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have an update on Mr. Terry. N4LQ. Down in the land of pleasant living. 800 feet. I didn't realize that was that shallow. I guess that explains the temperature during the summertime. And now the SWAR is actually going down rather than up, so. Anyway, the Palstar AT5K works very well on everything but 160. I guess that's why it has a fan button in the front of it, which I thought was hideous. It blows on the bowline. But oh, there it goes. See you, bye. Here goes the beep. Bye. W4GZ.
That's hilarious. N4LQ. Okay, let's see here. I brought that ad up for the Ultimate Dream Elmac mobile system, and the antenna, it just says it's a durable fiberglass top section. It doesn't say who made that part. And the coils, plug-in loading coil system, you get one for 80, 40, 20, and a shorting bar for 10. For $22, and it's made by Sherrick, Sherrick, or Sherrick, whoever that is. Then there's a matching gizmochi, Master Matcher, a mobile Master Matcher. That's the brand name, I believe, Master Matcher. And then there's a Master Micro Z Match. There's all kinds of crazy things here. The meter itself reads the SWR. Of course, this one shows a dynamotor instead of the power supply, which would really be cooler. It might work better. I don't know. I don't really see how that little vibrator can, because that transmitter is going to need like 100 watts of power when it's transmitting. The input power, it's pretty stiff because it's doing the modulator and the final and everything. So that's quite a load on this little vibrator. 12 volt. No, this is a 6 volt vibrator. Mallory, a replacement vibrator. It says. Huh. I wonder where the original went. So I was talking to Larry NKM, and he said him and Tommy, he's going to try and make Tommy go with him to take the extra exam February the 1st, I think, somewhere nearby there. And he's committed to that. I kind of encouraged him strongly because he just didn't see the need for it. I said, well, there may not be, you may not use it, but he was wanting to check into the old friends and that, and he can't do it. And I said, what's the problem? He said, I just never saw any need for it. And I said, well, you don't wait till you see a need for something. If it's out there and it's for bettering yourself, just go for it, and then you've got it, and you'll be proud of yourself once you do it. And it's so easy now. There's 12-year-old kids passing that crazy thing. And Dave, I just about fell out of my chair when you confessed to electrocuting the teacher's tadpoles. I guess he's gone now, so it doesn't matter, but that's pretty good. So, over to you. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
Yeah, I guess the statute of limitations has run out. Well, he's already transitioned out of this life, but oh me, yeah, he used to love to shock people. And this was what, 9th grade, I think, 9th or 10th, I don't remember now. But he had a 5-gallon aquarium with he had hatched out some frog eggs in it, and they were in the tadpole stage. I got there early one morning, and me and another ne'er-do-well decided we'd see what kind of effect that thing had. And in all honesty, I thought we'd just stun them, but it was more permanent. So he came in, and they were all floating belly up. I don't think he ever figured out what went on, and my friend didn't rat me out, so oh my goodness. Anyhow, yeah, that was mean, I guess, but it was still kind of funny. Well, Brandon, 7-3, buddy, have a good one, and yeah, I'd sure like to hear from what the situation is with Terry. I know he's been having it really, really tough. And Tony, if you're listening, we'll pray that things go great with your wife. Fellas, I'm going to bow out on this one as well. I've enjoyed it. And hope everybody has a great evening. Stay warm and keep the water running. And we'll hear some of you hopefully in the morning. So 7-3, God bless. And Brandon, if you're listening, maybe a Texas bug catcher would be a good deal on that van. KN4R, WA4LLR, 7-3, guy.
Okay, Dave, very good. WA4LLR in the group, KN4R. All right, very good, Dave. 73s, and stay warm up there. Same to you, Brandon, and I'll take a picture of that Webster band spanner if when I go down to the garage. So, but you're not obligated in any way. So, and Tony, all the best to you and your wife tomorrow and ongoing. And let's hope Terry. Terry's been sick for some time, and I thought he was getting better, but all of a sudden he's going someplace else for another surgery. So I don't know. No fun getting old. So anyway, I'm going to say 73s as well. Everybody take care, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow night. And I'm not sure if John JPL is still there or not, but take it away, John, if you're there. W4JPL in the group, KN4R, 73.
Yeah, John signed off, but again, I want to say thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it. And we'll be keeping Terry in our prayers. And I hope he's going to do well. And always a pleasure talking with you, gentlemen. And I'm glad to fall into this group. And I really enjoyed having these nice round tables with you guys. So, all right, have a good night, everyone. I'm out of here, too. And I'm not sure if Brandon's still there or not. If not, then I guess Mira will pick it up. Good night, everyone. This is K4QE.
Mira, are you gone?
Here, K4QE, and everybody else who signed up 73. Take care. it's still a little staticky here. Take care, everybody. Good night. Keep warm. Yeah, I always keep my frost-free water faucets covered with the high-density foam props that are made for that purpose, and make sure that at least a couple of faucets are dripping in the house, but never had a problem with it. 4 years ago, about almost the same week, we had, without the wind chill, we had 0 degrees here one night. Anyway, so 73, and take care. Back to you, Steve. N4LQ, WFTO.
See you later, Mayor. Dave, you still here? I want to tell you something. LLR gone?
Sounds like it. You can tell me, Steve.
Now, this was special for Dave. I think you've heard this anyway, but it had to do with his tadpoles. But anyway, that's the way it goes. I'll get him tomorrow. See y'all later, 73s. This is N4LQ closing the Old Friends Net. Good night.